Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's APPA webinar, a guide to the world's leading wholesale uniform brands and what sets them apart, by Steve Iannuzzelli. Today you are listening in on your computer's speaker system by default. If you would prefer to join over the phone, select telephone in the audio pane and the dial-in information will be displayed. You will have the opportunity to submit questions to Steve by typing them into the questions pane on the control panel, and they will be answered either throughout the presentation or at the very end. Now, a little bit about Steve. Steve has managed the team behind worldwide leading hospitality uniform brand Chefworks for over 4 years. He has successfully energised and utilised his team to help grow the Chefworks brand in Australia. The business has seen record growth over the last 2 years, which Steve attributes to its customer-centric culture and class-leading product portfolio. In early 2016, Steve successfully introduced 8 internationally established brands to the portfolio under the umbrella company Entity Brands. With a focus on growing the labels, he continues to lead his dynamic team to deliver premium service with a strong customer support ethic. Okay, so with that said, I will now hand over to Steve. Thank you, Steve, and welcome.
Thanks, Sabina. Well, thank you for those attendees that are taking the time to give me. It's exciting to get an opportunity to talk to you about what we do and I guess share a little bit of what we've learnt through our journey. In doing this thing, I know you're all there, but no one's there talking to me, so excuse me if I laugh at my own jokes, just to help me get through this next little bit. Yeah, Sabina, you've introduced me well, I guess. Thank you for that. Entity Brands we established in 2016 on the back of our success with Chefworks. We saw an opportunity that was our capability on establishing brands in this end market. We had a great network. Many of you have been part of that for many years with Chefworks. And so we thought we'd leverage that network, introduce some heavy hitting brands and watch the story unfold. What we'll be talking about today, obviously I'm going to introduce you to the brand portfolio, give you a little synopsis about each of the brands. And we're going to talk about some of the things I've heard in my experience from talking to people running businesses such as yours and what I've understood about the competitive landscape here in Australia and what we can do differently and how we can work together to make it a different story and ease some of those pains that I've learnt about, and also continue to do the things that this great industry over here has and does well, and continue to do those for you guys. So with that said, a little bit about me. I come from ironically a professional services background. I joined the apparel or product industry, as Sabina said, about 5 years ago now. The general management skills and people skills really what got me across here through networks, and definitely that's what I bring to the table here. Obviously, having now been in the apparel business for 5 years and understanding the vast difference between product versus service and those things, I've picked up quite a bit of information. And I think I was at a party the other week and someone was asking about cotton, and I started talking about the difference between blown cotton and ring spun cottons and how the factories work and the mills work. And my wife looked at me almost with a little bit of disgust, I think, but she looked at me and said, "Did you ever think you'd know so much about cotton?" And I was like, no, I didn't. But here we are. So I'm loving the journey here. We've got a great story to write, and thank you for those that are a part of it. One of the topics, or they're written on the page, a couple of the topics, but a lot of the things I hear out on the street there are the pain of getting undercut online, the expense of sourcing product. We've got such a vast array of products, even in our portfolio, which we'll dig into, but in the marketplace, and sometimes you outdo your profit margin just sourcing rather than selling. The other thing is, you want to obviously support products that you can back, products that represent quality, products that your client will come back to you for. We're probably familiar with the term lifetime value, and a spot deal is great, a bit of quick cash, quick win. But really, the lifetime value of your client is what we're all interested in, becoming a partner in them establishing their brand and their solutions for uniforming and apparel, so that you've got an ongoing opportunity with them. Business is never easy, but we've got to make it as simple as we can be. So we're trying to embrace a simple approach to business, making sure it's easy. And in that, apparel, it's a challenging space. Apparel, for example, if you look at the consumer behavior or the decision-making tree, typically, you're buying a toaster, you've got a few things: color, size, is it 4 or 2, or and the decision is pretty quick, but it's a pretty low value item. You're buying a car, obviously your decision matrix is a lot higher. Has it got leather? Has it got sunroof? Has it got the right tires, mag wheels, color, engine capacity? The decision for the investment grows. Uniforms and apparel is a really tricky one, because although the cost is quite low, the decision matrix is quite high. So people are thinking about color, style, fit, text, how does it feel? Does it represent me? It's a very personal thing, clothing. So it becomes a very interesting space to work in as far as how you're selling to your customers. And we'll touch on that a little bit when I close with a few keys and things I've learned and picked up along the way. And then obviously, as I said, that lifetime value earlier, there's a couple of the leverages, a couple of the triggers we can use to make sure that we've got someone coming back to you through your business. So let's get involved. I'm keen to get that picture of me off the screen anyway, so here we go. Entity brands. So we established Entity Brands 2016. One of the major things that attracted me to the portfolio that we've picked up and working with these brands is quite a privilege. The business is founded locally and internationally on family. It's both family-run businesses, pride themselves on superior service with a good mix of value. And value is it doesn't mean dollar. Value means the options and the capabilities that it can bring to your sales pitch. All these brands are fair labor approved with an unbelievable and genuine focus on sustainable practice, community benefits. We'll touch on that again a bit later on, but I'm extremely proud to work with these brands, and so is the team here. It's really exciting. And again, in all that mix, we've got categories, styles, companions. These products are built with the sale in mind and the client in mind. It's a very broad range. It's not limiting to say, oh, look, I've got the blue in the men's, but I don't have it in the ladies. It really is an all-encompassing selection, and it's designed to increase the size of that basket in the sale and give you guys the opportunity to really present a good solution to your customer and supporting their brand. So what we'll do as we go through, I'll touch individually on each of the brands. We'll show a few videos so that you don't have to listen to me the whole time, or more so I don't have to listen to myself the whole time. We'll give you a brand overview, and hopefully in that you'll see where you can think of us. I'll also try to give you some local competitors that have similar portfolios. So just say for correlation purposes, obviously everybody has their place in the market, and it's just so you can relate to what the portfolio might be like. Now, SportTech I think is one of the biggest opportunities here in Australia. It is an amazing brand. It's a very deep portfolio of product with some unbelievable quality throughout. So it's really designed for everything, performance, athleisure, gyms, all that kind of stuff. We'll flick through actually. Here we go. So yeah. It's got a whole range of accessories and things like that that we can use to, you know, hats, caps, bags, scarves. We've got arm warmers, all sorts of little things that you just wouldn't otherwise see in other portfolios. The SportTech brand is really a combination of like an Aussie Pacific through to a sport leisure. It's got everything from your value entry, you know, $6 competitor t-shirts and color block t-shirts and polos and things like that, right through to your top end, you know, polyester with internal lining, hoodies and jackets at the $40, $50, $60 mark. It's got a great option in a good, better, best situation. You know, you'll have a look at a product and be able to talk about, okay, this is your entry level, this is your middle level, and this is your best level. Again, color options galore. One of the major focuses on through this SportTech range is the posi charge capability. And this is one of the things we'll talk about more towards the end of the slide about these capabilities in the portfolio. So posi charge is a technology that we use with the polyester shirts in this range. Essentially, first of all, we rough up the polyester. So polyester, being a synthetic fiber, is extremely scientific. It's straight, there's no imperfection. We rough it up to create imperfection because cotton's got imperfection, and that's why it feels so soft. So first of all, that gives it a little bit of softness. Then the second thing we do is when we dye the polyester from its natural color from use color to giving it what we want the outcome to be, we use a cationic dye. So we negatively charge the fiber and we use a positively charged ink. Basically, it works in similar to like a bondcrete. It is bonded together, so the color cannot leach or bleed from the fabric, and that is music to many screen printers' ears. We've thrown a few of these out in the local market because it sounds like a great story. The technology sounds amazing, but is it a marketing pitch? Well, you know, we've got great feedback from many people saying that no, this is legit. I didn't even have to put a base coat on a red item, and I've got a true white. Well, many of us in the industry would have seen that after 2 days on a red garment, you get a pink print. What that means for all of us is, you know, cheaper printing costs, more opportunity to use wider range of colors and use contrasting all whites in our printing and things like that, where otherwise we wouldn't have been able to. I'll give you a quick look at some of the products in the portfolio. This is just a snippet of the portfolio. This was preloaded, but here we go. This is just a snippet of the portfolio, but you'll get the general idea when it comes to the sales pitch, why this brand is such a powerhouse. Flicking through, you've got a huge variety of options that are not only available in one color, but across all the colorways. So you can fit out as individual team, a group of teams, you know, a really handy tool to do selections from. Now let's see if I can get across back there without closing everything off. A bit more of the product. So being a performance-based brand, you've got a lot of technologies in there, you know, moisture wicking, breathable, to make it suitable for, you know, couriers and things like that, or sports teams. One of the amazing technologies in the mix is snag resistant, and even in some of the other brands, we've got a snag proof polyester polo. So many of us will know that the first thing to go wrong with a poly polo is that you catch one snag and it runs around the entire length of the thread, so it ruins the shirt pretty quickly. These are snag resistant, so many of our shirts, you know, are woven in such a way that it's near impossible to snag, and as I said, some of our other ones are impossible to snag. It's quite phenomenal. For those of you that find me at APPA, we'll do a quick demo. We do a lot of tag-free garments as well, and that's for, you know, your clients that really want to say, We do a lot of tearaway label, and that's for your clients that want to say, okay, I want my brand printed on the inside as well, so they feel like it's a true Deloitte shirt, if you will, just picking a name out of the air. And then we do also a lot of tag free, and that's for comfort. That's a heat pressed label on the inside, so a bit more comfortable. Cornerstone. So Cornerstone's a smaller portfolio in that it's really focused around a higher end workwear, you know, more hardy wear and tear employee, couriers, construction workers, you know, a bit of medical scrub and things in there. I'm going to jump now to a video so we can have a quick look at that about one of the Cornerstone products.
Where's my shirt? Drop it. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Drop it. Boy, you're gonna make me late for work. Mondays.
Perfectly corny video there. I don't want to go into my music selection now. I'll jump across here. Yeah, look, it's actually an amazing technology, that snag-proof stuff. I think at the last APPA we had a steel brush and we were working a shirt, and it's really one of those got to see it to believe it sort of situations. So definitely come and find us at APPA. So Cornerstone is a great brand, really hardy workwear. I want to, I don't know, get people involved a little bit, I guess. So what I am going to do here is I'll ask you all to make sure your Googles are closed. Well, I accidentally left my Safari there. That's going to make it a bit painful later. Make sure your Googles are closed. And on the chat just now, for the first person that gets it right, we'll give $50 credit to with Entity Brands. So money on the line. I want to know what duck cloth is. So I've heard, you know, having chats here and there and everywhere, all different explanations of what duck cloth is. So I'm going to write on the chat or in the questions. Can people see? Well, it looks like the chat's not really happening for us here, is it? No, and silence is killing me yet also. Okay, we can't do that. Sabina, is that? Hey, Sabina, trying the questions pane. Okay. No, doesn't seem to be happening. Okay, well, look, I'll give away the secret and I'll get myself a $50 voucher. Duck cloth is actually just Dutch for linen, canvas linen. So it's not a special weave other than it's a canvas. So it's got a canvas outer with a linen inner. So that's where the duck cloth jacket range comes from. Again, just some amazing capabilities. You'll see a little logo there for odor resistant. These shirts have a wash over them that will sort of stop the garment from, you know, attracting the sweat odors and things like that, to make them more practical for a heavy use situation like mechanics and things like that that might be working up a bit of a sweat through the day. A real industry focused brand with Cornerstone. We'll jump on. District and District Made are another couple of brands that I'm very excited about, and you'd attribute these to an AS Color, but you'd probably say AS Color on steroids. You know, the portfolio is really targeted at that millennial youth sort of market, concept tees and VIP tees and dresses and hoodies and all sorts of tailored apparel. But you know, with a huge amount of colorways and obviously varieties as well. The District brand, and I'll show you another video just now, is that perfect millennial brand. I accidentally pressed close on my last visit here, so bear with me one sec. It'll start playing in the background, no doubt. By dedicated high-speed internet, they said. All right. So yeah, extensive range of cutting-edge styles. Really, you know, you've got all your tri-blends, that real focus on comfort, quality apparel. The more
Stopped and I left for breakfast. Traveled all up the 101. The coastline makes me feel so fine. I said, hey, do you wanna be free now? Hey, do you wanna be free now? Free. We travel this land until we reach the end. If we don't find it, we're gonna start again. And we're searching for a place that is more than a home. I need a tiny place we can call our home. Hey, do you wanna be free now? Free. Hey, do you wanna be free now? Free.
Yeah, I guess why it's important for me to show you these brand-based videos is, again, this is, and we'll talk about it later, can become a great part of your selling pitch. You know, I guess from our business perspective, we've got two great, well, obviously a handful of responsibilities, but three of our primary focuses, obviously building brands. So that material that is really sort of vague and not product specific and brand specific rather, and builds perception is one of our true focuses, and we try to really work extensively to get those out through the right mediums so that we can create a story behind the product and enable you to have a story to sell, which is very important. And the other one is obviously our service to back that up, and then internally we make sure we look after our team so that the service you get is from happy people. So they're the three things that we really try to focus on as a business. But yeah, primarily that brand and building that perception. So with District, you saw in the video the huge range of t-shirts, dresses, polos, there's onesies, there's all sorts of cool millennial things. It's at a similar price point to an AS Color and works up from there. It's not what you consider a throwaway tee. We don't really have any of that sort of stuff in our range across any of the brands, but it's more of a tee that you'd expect to be worn all summer, sort of thing, and taken out then. And really, when you're selling to these promotional or for these promotional events or for these activations and things like that, throwaway tees are great because it's cheap and it's an entry-level solution. But how many impressions are you really going to get with that t-shirt? Whereas you get them in the right gear, you get them in something comfortable, you get them in a shirt that they're proud to wear and feel good in, then you've got more chance of continued impressions for the brand spend as they walk it around town and so on and so forth. A classic example of that is the Bing Tang beer singlets. They were great sort of singlets, and I'm sure everybody's got some Aussie friend somewhere that has a Bing Tang singlet that wears it here and there every summer. So it's one of those things and that's what these people really want for their brands. They want exposure. So picking the right product for that is key. You got in the District range your concert tees, which is a bit more lightweight, then your very important tee, which is again a higher scale, and like I said, some hoodies and things like that. All fashion fit, all millennial focused. Some great product in there. Port Authority and Port & Company. Now these are two sort of related brands. Port Authority is probably our biggest brand as far as portfolio breadth goes. It is everything. If you want to say fashion biz, it's got all the sort of, I wouldn't say the corporates or seismic, but everything else in the fashion biz range. It's got all of that, plus cooler bags, accessories, scarves, or fleeces, or all that kind of stuff. So really broad range. Now it's got a sister brand called Port & Company, and Port & Company is a reduced portfolio, but just with a little bit more of a dollar value focus. You'll see in the marketing stuff as we're going through, real attention to quality in our marketing asset, and that is reflected or founded on the quality in our product. So Port Authority has extreme attention to design and detail. Feedback we've been getting from market is that this product presents so well. There's no loose threads. We haven't had any concerns about returns and things like that. It's really stood up to the test. Again, these brands are well established internationally, leading the market in the US, and it goes to show why when we see the result over here. You've got styles galore in the Port Authority range, classic looks to modern looks, and just an unbelievable spread of colors. Again, in the technology space, this is one shirt. Now these shirts are $24 on the wholesale level. It's an Oxford weave with a soil resistant wash over it. You'd expect about 100 commercial washes, so 6 to 9 months. This is my Friday night shirt. You can spill a bottle of wine on it and it just runs straight off. It's absolutely amazing. We are flirting with the idea, if Sabina will let us get away with it, of having our business development manager, Ant Friedman, wear one of these to the APPA Convex, and we can throw some stuff at him just to prove how wonderful this shirt is. If we miss the shirt and Ant falls victim in other areas, we can't help him, but the shirt will protect him if we throw some wine at him. It's absolutely amazing. So if you think about use cases like hospitality for this shirt, your cleaners, aged care, just those industries where they're more likely to want a shirt that can cop a spill here and there and get away with it, this is your shirt. A lot of the range has some easy care technology As we know, when it comes to uniforming, you want it to look presentable. They want a solution that one guy who's fanatical about ironing looks good, the other guy doesn't. These shirts are wrinkle resistant, so they're relatively low maintenance, and that's a great outcome for laundering and for the general look. You can see there, just in that one shirt, the S608, the Easy Care, there's 30 different colors. So it's quite overwhelming. If the full catalog, we haven't really sort of handed out much. I use it as when I'm out on the road, and you'll see some lying around at APPA, but it is truly a shelf breaker. There's 165,000 products or SKUs in the portfolio. Obviously, colors and sizes make up that 165,000. So there's 6.5 different styles in the product portfolio across all these brands. I quite often say there's things in the portfolio that I discover that we sell every now and then. You can't believe it. I've been working with it for 3 years. So you can see in Port Authority, you've got woven shirts, you've got the polos, you've got soft shells and windbreakers, wool with water resistant ratings. Some of them have high vis options available with reflective touches, as well as brighter materials and things like that. This is just a snippet of some of the Port and Company product. Your entry-level tee with us is about $4.50. So again, it's not a sort of a Gildan $2 throwaway situation. These are tees that are designed to stand a bit of wear and tear. One of the exciting things is, and again, 48 colors in that one tee, but it also comes in everything from an infant size, a young toddler, right up to 6, 7 XLs. So you can fit out a whole group of people with that one color and one solution. That hoodie just there, 45 colors of that hoodie. Just a huge range. One of the exciting things, and one of the things we can help you on, is sorry, I just saw the bubble there. I thought I'd jump across and see if we did get a speech. We have PMS matches for all the colors that we present here in these products. Obviously heathers and things like that, there's no PMS for it, but on our product spec sheets, which is available on our website, you can go and see the PMS color, and that's great when it comes to branding. I might actually just show you that for this product, PC78H. It's a closed door website, obviously no pricing and things available, but once you log in, you've got all this information available. As you can see, I'm an avid customer. PC78. If I search just the core style number, what comes up is the variants. So I believe, I might be mistaken, but this shirt, this hoodie comes as not a hoodie. So yeah, here we go. So by searching the PC78, I can see that there's a zipped hoodie, there's just a sweatshirt, there's the hooded version, there's matching track pants, ladies, camouflage version, infant version, toddler version, and a serious amount of colors in the mix. If I go in here, for example, and these are your wholesale prices. Hope there's no competitors on the line. If I go view product spec sheet, you can see here across all those colors, we've got a PMS for you. As we all know, and probably many of us have run into the dilemma, sometimes the color on the screen is very different to what it looks like in reality. So with the PMS, you can get a really accurate result and help narrow down those kinds of errors or iron them out. As well as, we can, on the back end of our system, we can search by PMS. So if you give me, you say, hey, my client wants, this is their brand standard, This is their PMS. What have you got? I can give you a list of things that we've got relatively close to that PMS if we don't have the exact match. So yeah. All sorts of things there, like picnic blankets and things like that. Just a huge portfolio. I guess what the true communication today is just to understand the brands, understand what they represent, and from there get an idea of what might be under the umbrella, and then contact us. Red House. So Red House is my Van Heusen, if you will. If I go back, I'll go back to this first picture of me, which I said I didn't like looking at, but we're going back to it. So this shirt, that's a Red House shirt. I literally pulled that out of the wash, unironed, just put it on, and it's 100% cotton, iron-free shirt. They're absolutely amazing. I love them. They take the hassle of ironing out of my life, which I'm very fond of. Huge. It's a relatively reduced portfolio compared to what we've got in say the other brands. You've got about, I think, 30 or 40 different shirt options with multiple colorways under there. But huge focus on quality, absolutely top-notch style and fabric blends, all 100% cottons. So the digital doesn't quite do it justice. We've tried to put in some little icons down the bottom, but you can see that there's fabric textures through these garments too that make them a little bit different. Again, come and see me at APPA and at the Convex, and we can run through some of this stuff. You won't be disappointed. I certainly haven't been. One brand that we probably don't need too much introduction for is Nike Golf. So always good to put a bit of context around this. So Nike Golf, we have license exclusively for the promotional Nike Golf range. Now, what does that mean? Because we're all aware there's Nike Golf retail in your Rebel Sports and your Golf Marts and so on and so forth. And some of you might have even been buying that from Maximus or Brosnan, who I don't believe now are controlling it, but it's in the market. Nike Golf Promotional is a different set of products. There's no overlap to retail. The styles are slightly different. There's no direct match. One of the primary differences is the Nike swoosh is always on the sleeve or on the nape of the neck or down here on the out of the way. Under license, we have to sell it as a co-branded product, so you have to have a client's logo on there somewhere. Now, whether we do that or you do that yourselves, it doesn't matter. Just by the time it ends up in a client's hands, it needs to have a logo on it. The other fundamental thing about Nike Golf Promotional versus Nike Golf Retail is that it's a uniform label, which is great news for you when you're using this label or this brand to present a solution. You know that it's going to be there next year and the year after. We're all familiar with the pain point of using fashion labels in a uniforming solution next summer or next winter. As soon as it changes, as soon as the season changes, so does the product. So you can't replicate that same solution. Nike Golf, and again, we'll touch more on this at the end of the presentation about what I believe the true levers are and how we can make the uniform sale a bit simpler and alleviate some of those things. It's a brand, it's a brand that's so well recognized. It's credible. It's got, people know it for its quality. They know it for its performance. It's well and truly an easy sell. It's not cheap. It's extremely expensive actually, but and that's the testament to what a brand can do. People pay for that label. If you say to an IBM or one of these bigger corporate organizations that might be looking for a golf day, if you can say you can put that logo next to a Nike swoosh, and that shirt is more than likely to get worn again because it is a Nike product. It is a high-end product. The cost per impression actually goes down. And it's the brand that does the sale. So we've found working with the Nike Golf Promotional product, although the clients might be slightly different, the sale is extremely easy because of what that brand represents. Again, just a snippet of what we've got. The range is think around 79 different styles available in Nike, with a huge range of colors across them. Everything from you know, your entry-level polos starting at around $35 or $33, moving right up to, you know, activewear jackets. Not that particular one, but I think that runs around 60 or 70, but you know, going right up to like $120, $130. Bags, caps, golf shoe bags, all sorts of different things. This is one of the brands that really sets itself apart in its work there. Okay, a little bit about us. So just drawing to a close. Again, thank you for listening to me. I've bored myself sometimes, but a little bit about us. So what we've tried to do is make the sales process as easy as we can for you. So we offer a lot of sales lead assistance. We have a really sophisticated back-end system, and we're working towards making that more accessible, but we can really help narrow down some of the options for you. We want to essentially become your sourcing specialist. So we'll be very transparent if budget or style constraints are there. If we'll clearly say, look, we don't have it, but I think you might find it in this portfolio of a competitor or a co-operator, if you will, co-opetition. So you know, if you can think about those brands, and shoot us a brief from your client, hey, I want this color and this style, what have you got? We'll shoot you the option straight back, so we can just speed up that sourcing for you. We've got a centralized ordering system, so all these brands are available under one roof. My graphics guy was extremely proud of this icon, probably breaking some patent laws, but that's the icon from the First Order from Star Wars. He was very pumped about that, so I had to call that out. Yeah, so all these brands are available under one invoice, if you will. What we do for product samples, we offer a swing tag sample or a grommeted sample. So we put an eyelet on the back of the sample. We put all the product specs on a page, and then on the back of that we put a fabric swatch of all the available colors. And you know, for those of you that do have a showroom or do carry around a few samples for or you know want to pick a core set of products to pick, it just means you can have one shirt that can sell 40 colors, as you saw before, where we've got that huge color range, rather than having to lug around 40 different products. Now we make those to order, so we cut the garments up to order. So it gives us a couple of extra days to do that. However, we also do it at 50% off, because we know you'll use it as a sales tool. It's not a garment that can be worn. So we're seeing great results there. We do have a lot of sales packs and marketing material to support the sale as well. One of the things I think that the challenge set out in front of us is, because we're introducing such a big portfolio, it can be quite overwhelming. You know, where do you start? So it's always about getting that first opportunity to work together. So what we're doing with our marketing materials, we're really trying to focus it on selling occasions. So you see earlier in the presentation, I took you through that team guide. That's obviously focused at that sports clubs and so on and so forth. We've also got a corporate wear guide, and we've also got a toughest guide and a golf guide. And we're really trying to focus our marketing materials around selling occasions, so that you can tell me, look, I deal with more corporate clients, and I can say, okay, well, here's some marketing material, here's a suggested sample pack to go with that marketing material, and obviously we can evolve that as we grow the relationship. Again, a couple of things we'll talk about just quickly about our business, the depth of inventory. So our inventory is primarily stored offshore. I went to one warehouse in Phoenix. It's a 20-acre warehouse, 9-meter ceilings, floor to ceiling stock. It is absolutely overwhelming how much inventory we have. That goes for all our brands. You know, I think someone asked me the other day, you know, how many Nike black, one of the Nike polos, how many shirts do you have? And I said, well, look, we've got 3,500 mediums, and we've got a similar holding across the other sizes. So how many do you need? Please sell them all. would be a great win, would retire. No, so a huge depth of inventory. We do store inventory locally for some of our core products, some of our fast moving products. We've got clients that have landed some wonderful ongoing contracts. We store inventory here for them so that we can speed up the service. We're looking at a 5 to 7 day fulfillment time for you guys, even if it's offshore. So that's what we quote. If we've got the stock locally, it'll be a lot quicker than that, but that's what we're working with there. No minimum orders in that. You can order 1 or 100 or 1,000. Please lean towards 1,000, but 1 is fine. So just on that, oh, that's not going to work. On the capability, so sampling is a difficult one, and you're just going to have to excuse me while I log into my mail here. So I just wanted to give you a quick example here. Hopefully I did that quick enough not to give all my trade secrets away. Quick example here. So, in this instance, we wanted to see any white and pink athletic sort of jumpers warm-ups that we had. I can, on the back end, just very quickly go, okay, white, pink, athletic warm-ups, and send you these links. These links, the beauty of them, they can be sent straight to your customer. So if I click on this one, for example, it takes to this online apparel market. The customer gets a really interactive experience. They get to change colors and look at the product. A lot of our products have a supporting product video to give you an overview of the features of the product and what it
This budget-friendly, active-inspired pullover performs with moisture wicking and snag resistance. Easy to layer, the closed-hole pinpoint mesh adds a subtle texture, while front and back seams streamline the look.
Just little things like this can make this sales process a lot easier. All companion styles listed and things like that. You'll see that there's no reference to pricing, no reference to us. Even if your customer gets a little bit tricky and says, okay, who's this online apparel market? It goes through to a blank page. So this is just a really quick way to sort of get that customer down from saying, oh, I want to see 10 different things, to saying, okay, well, look, let's narrow down that list and pick your top 3 out of this, and they can go through and pick the top 3, and we can make it happen. What's next for the business? And I'll talk about those starting points in a second. But for our business, we've got some exciting news coming. We've got even more brands to offer you. We've got some heavy hitters coming. So we'll be releasing at APPA in the likes. I'll give you one is North Face. We're very excited to start that relationship. It's going to be a killer. But we've got a few others up our sleeve as well. So come and see us at APPA and see what's happening. Obviously, as we're learning what the market's needing here, we've set up so that we've got plenty of room for inventory here in Sydney. So we're increasing our local stock holding. We know that speed of service is key and fundamental to this industry, and we're very transparent. If we can't help you in the time frame, we'll just say, look, unfortunately, we're not going to meet this one. But if we can, we will. And in that vein, we're trying to increase our stock base and intelligently increase our stock with the right styles to make sure we can speed that up. And as I mentioned, that advancing technology, so very sophisticated back-end systems that help us really assist you in that sales process. But we're making more and more of those readily available to you. Our website already has some filtering, male, female, colors, so on and so forth. But we're working now to, include, fabric weights, pocket, no pocket, hood, no hood, all those kinds of more intricate filters to just make your browsing experience a lot easier. Again, me and the team are here to help you through that journey and narrow a lot of that out, where use us as your sourcing agent or your support network to go from there. So I'll just close on a few things that I've sort of alluded to throughout the discussion and the talk, but that I've found have serviced a better sale or a better way to sell to the client. So you know, the 5 value steps I've labelled it, and I you know, this is plagiarized from obviously a bit of university reading, a bit of internet reading, and all that, those kinds of things. But expertise is the number one. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to sell value. We're not trying to sell on price. No one wants to sell on price. It's a negative it's a negative result if price is the lever that we use to sell. So you're trying to sell an expert solution with understanding the different fabric technologies and you know, things like knowing about ring spun versus blown cotton, knowing about cationic dyes, and knowing about duck cloth, knowing about the product you're working with can really help position you as an expert and build that layer or level of trust for your client. So it's one of the very important and probably one of the primary steps to build a value story for your customer. The other thing is, within that expertise, is to find the value drivers that you can leverage. So the last thing you want to do is talk about price. Now, please bear in mind, I'm not saying steer away from price because we're more expensive. We're actually not. We're on par with the market. Price is about protecting margin. You guys want to make margin out of this product. You want to continue to make margin out of this product. So you know, these are the things we encourage to make sure that you get a healthy result for your business. So if we understand that, hey, I'm a courier driver, I've got a team of guys that are packing shelves at groceries, well, then using our expertise to say, hey, we've got snag resistant, because I'm sure you've got plenty of shirts that haven't stood the test of time. So we've got a snag resistant or a snag proof shirt that can help you. Those kinds of things can create another layer that's not price. Create scarcity, so using brand names rather than just products. So, you know, for my business, creating scarcity is, you know, we're choosing the distributors that we work with quite closely. You know, not to say that our product won't be online, but I can tell you now it won't be online at 10% margin. I'm not interested in undercutting the margin available for you, or you know, as a result, losing you as a potential partner for these brands. And that's not how to build a brand either. Brand isn't a price thing. Brand is a value thing. So you know, we're being quite selective, but for you, creating scarcity is about leveraging that brand story. You know, hey, this is a unique product. You know, show some of those videos. We've got them for all the different brands, but you know, you can create a value on what the brand perception is. And again, brand, not product. You know, you're selling a story. One of the great things is a video I'm about to show you, and I think it's just an incredibly powerful sales tool, this video, just because it creates a level of pride in what we're involved in. And as you know, a lot of your engagements are about building other people's brands. They want to know that what they're involved in is servicing a bigger picture. They want to know its quality. They want to know that they've got trust and reliability in the product they're going to get, which all comes from the perception of a brand, not just it's not a polo. It's a branded thing. And last but not least, obviously, is the service and capability. So, you know, talking to you and talking and relating it back to my business, it's obviously different. You know, my service and capability is about enabling you. Your service and capability is the relationship you have with that client, how you're working with them to present different options to build their brand, you're working with them to calculate, you know, that cost of impression for a shirt. You know, how many times will it get worn? How many times will your brand get seen based on the products and the materials we're giving you. So all of these things combine together to create a benefits focus rather than a price focus. Now, it's not going to work everywhere. Some customers are just driven by price, and that's fine, and we'll have some products to service them. And as you'll see, and when you log into the portal, you know, we've got quite a competitive rate there. But these other levers can break away from that. So, you know, like I said, for us, that creating the scarcity will stop your customer working with you and then going and buying it at 10% margin online. you'll be able to use us to source quickly, and that speed of sale will also help build your service capability as far as your customer is going to get quick responses and have options presented to them digitally in a beautiful format that just makes them feel, wow, this is responsive. Product that you're proud to wear yourself, as per my opener. I'm going to show you this video, and it's a real special thing. Simpler approach. We're here to support you in the journey. So just a bit of a prelim. This is a family-run business, this brand house in America. The guy that started it was in college, wanted a specific yellow t-shirt, could not find it anywhere in America, so decided, let's go make it myself. From there, he is now running a billion-dollar company in America, billion US dollars, 4,500 employees. With that kind of presence and throughput, he's got a lot of sway in international markets. Rather than take his supply chain through China or Bangladesh or like many of the others, he decided to use his capability and his buying power through the supply chain to actually make a difference. Majority of these brands and majority of the products are made in either Tanzania or Honduras. He built factories in these regions. When he started in Tanzania, women couldn't work. They weren't by law allowed to work. They couldn't have bank accounts. So he lobbied locally to give them rights to work, give them rights to have finance bank accounts so that he could pay them, and proceeded to build hospitals, schools, full community programs around the factories that make these products. You'll see the result of that in this video. Okay, well, guys, I try to give you a good overview of the brands we've got on offer, and some insights from our perspective of how we can help and how you can use these components that are brands to leverage in your sale. I genuinely appreciate the time. These things are always hit and miss, so for those of you that have stuck it out, I genuinely appreciate it.
What we have here today is a half posit charge classic mesh tank and half regular open hole mesh, and we really want to see your process and kind of see what you think of this.
This is a video that just puts posi charge to the test. Yeah, so genuinely appreciate your time, and genuinely look forward to an opportunity to work with you all. Come and see us at the APPA Convex. Connect with us on LinkedIn. Come and drop into our showroom and sign up to the portal is the next steps, I guess. Yeah, thanks. That's it from me, Sabina.
Thanks very much for that great presentation, Steve. Now, we don't have any further questions, but going back to the question that you asked earlier, we did have a couple of responses there. So we had one from Nathan Chapman who said, cotton duck is also simply duck, sometimes duck cloth or duck canvas. is a heavy plain woven cotton fabric, whereas duck canvas is more a tightly woven than plain is more tightly woven than plain canvas. And also submitted at 12:22, so exactly the same time, we had Cassandra Houghton reply with a heavy plain woven cotton fabric. So we did have a couple of responses there, but that's okay.
And
I think it was just a little bit hard to see them there.
Sabina, I think if I can't call it, I'll just they both can have the 50. I think it's 50 each for sure. So guys, thanks for getting involved. I couldn't see it on my end, but I'm going to trust Sabina.
Yes. All right. So I'll send you through those details. But to everybody who's listening, if you do have any questions after the webinar, I'm not sure, Steve, did you put your details up? If not, any questions can be sent through to myself, and I'll share them with Steve. Also, tomorrow you will receive the follow-up email with a link to today's recording if you wanted to share that with your colleagues. So on behalf of Steve and APPA, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you do have a great afternoon. I will speak to you soon and hopefully see you at Convex in a couple of, next month. It's coming up so quickly. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sabina. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.